Obama furious after historian reveals dark secret about his slave-owning ancestors. Obama has been playing the race card ever since he used it to get elected in 2008, and even when out of office, he hasn't shown any signs of stopping anytime soon. Every opportunity he gets, Obama cries racism, to incite the brainwashed mob of leftist thugs that voted him into office. He claimed that he was a victim of oppression, despite the fact that he went to Harvard. Obama is in the top 1% of people in the entire United States, yet he somehow thinks that he was victimized due to his race. He's pushed the narrative of identity politics so far, that over the last 8 years of his presidency we've seen our country descend into chaos. Obama took every opportunity that he could get to blame conservatives for his own wrongdoings, and then to take the credit when Republicans managed to fix it. It should come as no surprise then, that he's been milking the Confederate statue scandals for everything they're worth. Despite the fact that he was supposed to leave office over 8 months ago, he still doesn't seem to have caught the drift. We don't want him anymore. Yet he continues to get involved in politics, where he doesn't belong, and tries to undermine Donald Trump's presidency every step of the way. In fact, just recently he's been pushing for the removal of historical monuments, because they're somehow racist and neo-Nazi. So what if it turned out that Obama's ancestors owned slaves? Would that be grounds for removing Obama's statue? Many conservatives believe that we should remove his statue nonetheless, because it stands for Marxism, race-baiting, and socialism, yet we have the decency to respect liberals and their freedom of speech. Unfortunately, they don't share the same respect for us. They've repeatedly torn down our statues, which are historical monuments, something sacred to this country. The left has breached our rights every chance we've given them. So when this dark secret came out about their glorious leader, Obama became absolutely furious. A genealogist at the Library of Congress discovered in 2008 that Barack Obama's ancestors owned slaves. The Gateway Pundit references a Chicago Tribune article, which has now been removed. Many people know that Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama's father was from Kenya and his mother from Kansas. But an intriguing sliver of his family history has received almost no attention until now. It appears that forebears of his white mother owned slaves, according to genealogical research and census records. The records, which had never been addressed publicly by the Illinois senator or his relatives, were first noted in an ancestry report compiled by William Adams Retweiner, who works at the Library of Congress and practices genealogy in his spare time. The report, on Retweiner's website, carries a disclaimer that it is a first draft, one likely to be examined more closely if Obama is nominated. According to the research, one of Obama's great-great-great-great-grandfathers, George Washington Overall, owned 2 slaves who were recorded in the 1850 census in Nelson County, Kentucky. The same records show that one of Obama's great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers, Mary Duval, also owned 2 slaves. The Baltimore Sun retraced much of Retweiner's work, using census information available on the website Ancestry.com and documents retrieved by the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives, among other sources. The records show that Overall, then 30, owned a 15-year-old black female and a 25-year-old black male, while Mary Duval, his mother-in-law, owned a 60-year-old black man and a 58-year-old black woman. To confirm the story, reporters at Silence Is Consent scoured public database records and online archives. We're committed to stopping the spread of fake news, so we wanted to confirm that this story wasn't fabricated. We found several sources, including the liberal-leaning Guardian news site, that confirmed it. As the son of a black Kenyan father and a white Kansan mother, Obama has seemed to embody a harmonious vision of America's multiracial society. However, recent revelations have thrown up an unexpected twist in the tale. Obama's ancestors on his white mother's side appear to have been slave owners. William Retweiner, an amateur genealogical researcher, has published a history of Obama's mother's family and discovered that her ancestors have a distinctly shadowy past. Retweiner traced Obama's great-great-great-great-grandfather, George Washington Overall, and found that he owned 2 slaves in Kentucky, a 15-year-old girl and a 25-year-old man. He also found out that Obama's great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, Mary Duval, also owned a pair of slaves listed in an 1850 census record. They were a 60-year-old man and a 58-year-old woman. In fact, the Duvals were a wealthy family whose members were descended from a major landowner, Maureen Duval, whose estate owned at least 18 slaves in the 17th century. For all of the race-baiting that Obama does, you'd think he was a slave himself. Yet, records clearly show that many of his ancestors weren't even slaves, they were slave owners. If we have racist pastors like Al Sharpton demanding we tear down Thomas Jefferson's statue for being a slave owner, shouldn't we tear down Obama's statue, too? The left doesn't care about equality, otherwise they'd be trying to tear down Obama's statue as well. All they care about is pushing their sick and twisted agenda, which is why they're so desperately trying to censor history. A full-out war has exploded between the left and the right, and it's a war that will determine the fate of our nation. It's a war between truth and falsehood, good and evil, and freedom and slavery. We hope you're on the right side. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.